Hey, Mark. My name is Alex Nelson. I'm with the Veterans Association here in North Carolina. And I was wondering if you could talk to me a little bit about what being a veteran in today's world means to you here in North Carolina.
Well, when I think about our veterans, one of the things I think about is the tremendous sacrifice that all of our veterans have made. Uh, going to combat, of course, is one type of sacrifice. You have the ultimate sacrifice of some of our veterans that we've lost through combat, giving their lives in combat. But any service in the military is a great sacrifice. I can remember the short time that I spent in the military. I can remember that was the first time I ever spent Christmas away from home. And we see many veterans that do that on a regular basis, spend time away from their family, miss births of children, birthdays, miss anniversaries. And those folks are doing those things for our freedoms. And so when I think about veterans, that's the very first thing I think about. I think about the sacrifices they made. And then the second thing I think is what can we do to help repay them for those sacrifices? And in my capacity as lieutenant governor, the thing that I can do is go to Raleigh and fight to make veterans care in North Carolina the gold standard in this nation. And I truly believe that we can and we should do that. And it's something that's at the top of my priority list.
Well, thank you. I know that you valued your service. We value your service, and you're going to continue to serve. This is Veterans Day.
Yeah.
And well, Correction Veterans Week, veteran holidays, and a lot of our veterans get out of the military services, and some of them become police officers, some of them become, citizens, some of them become even our elected officials.
Yeah.
It's hard time for them. We lose around 22 veterans a day.
Yes.
I mean, it's a sad fact. Do you have any words of wisdom for these veterans and veterans' families that are going through some hard times right now?
Well, to all our veterans, I would just say, please don't feel like we've forgotten you. We have not. I know in a lot of times in popular culture, it seems like veterans are forgotten. A lot of times they're put last, they're disregarded. But in the hearts of Americans, patriotic Americans, and millions of people across this state, the veterans come first. I can speak to that directly. One of the biggest issues that people loved about our message was the fact that we were going to stand firm for our veterans because people really believe that the time is now for us to stop putting our veterans on the back burner. You talked about those veteran suicides. To me, that's a national emergency. That's something that we need to tackle immediately. It's something that's pressing and that we need to put all of our resources into. One of the things I always said on the campaign trail, we didn't spare any expense when it came to training and recruiting and shipping our men and women off to go fight and serve. When they come home and they're struggling mentally, when they're struggling physically, we should not spare any expense in making sure that we give those veterans everything they need to survive. Just like we try to ensure that they survive on the battlefield, we need to make sure they survive when they get home. And I believe we can do a much better job of doing that. And as Lieutenant Governor, you better believe I'm going to fight to make sure that we do.
You mentioned a few minutes ago about legislation or things you might be working on. Can you share some of those things with me?
Well, I think one of the top priorities that we would have is right now there are 9 states in the union that don't tax veterans' pensions at all. I'd love to see North Carolina become number 10. I think that's one of the top priorities that I would like to fight for. And I believe there are a lot of people in Raleigh that would go along with that. And I think that's one of the things that could bring us together on both sides of the aisle. Is making sure that we could do that for our veterans, making that statement here in North Carolina that we're going to put veterans first. And I think that's where one of the areas that it could start in. So we certainly want to try to fight for that when we take office here in January and just make that a reality.
One of the things that impressed a lot of veterans about you, one is your heart, one is your drive, one is your passion. But you have your priorities in order. Your priorities you mentioned several times
Mm-hmm.
is God and family and in country.
Yes.
And I want to tell you right now, as a veteran, I appreciate your service and your continued service
Yes, sir.
because you served in the United States military services,
Yes.
and now you've continued on, and you set the example for a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people. So, as personally, I want to say thank you very much
Yes.
for the things that you do, the things that you have done, and the things that you're going to do in the future.
Well, We thank you very much for that. We appreciate your service as well.
Do you have any parting words right now during this Thanksgiving season as we move forward through Thanksgiving and the Christmas for the American public?
Well, as you said, Veterans Day was this month, and we're headed up towards Thanksgiving. Uh, those two things combined together, I'd like to just say this. Number one, we have a lot of things to be thankful for in this nation. Uh, there are people who would give their lives to live here, literally, would give their lives so that their families could live here. Uh, we have been extremely blessed in this nation. And one of the things that we have been blessed with, one of the things we can give thanks for this Thanksgiving, is that we've had such brave men and women who have been willing to lay down, sacrifice their lives and just sacrifice everything. Sometimes their families sacrifice their lives for us. And we just can't say that enough. That we really need to thank God that He's given us such brave men and women that would be willing to volunteer to do that. And finally, when you talk about Thanksgiving, I would encourage people and challenge people, knowing how blessed we are in this nation, that Thanksgiving should not be a day. It really should be a way of life. And I want to challenge everybody out there from this Thanksgiving Day on to make Thanksgiving a way of life in this nation, because we have so many great blessings to be thankful for. So I would just encourage people to think about those things.
Again, thank you very much, and I thank you for taking the time out of your busy day with us. I know you're busy
Yes, sir.
with this time of year and your exciting election
Yes, sir. Yes,
as
sir.
Lieutenant Governor.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Bye.